name is Jacob, and today I will be speaking about the baseball culture. Baseball to me is also a love and hate sport. It has been my best friend, but also has been my worst enemy. Um, One time when it was my worst enemy, a ball was hit with a bat, and it took a really bad hop, and it hit my nose, it fractured my nose, and I got a purple eye at the same time. I was kind of walking around looking like a mess for a while, and that's how I got this ball. Kind of not visible, if you can see it. Kind of that. uh, I was once a baseball player in high school, and I do watch baseball games, so I'm a the sport. And today I will be talking to you about the importance of baseball, the history, and how it is such an important. It plays such an important role in with America's history. And I will also be talking to you how I relate to it, how I was able to relate to it with others and my family. So my first topic, I will speak about the history of American baseball. So in 1939, a guy named Abner Doubleday was he lived in Cooperstown, New York, and that's where the game was. That's where he started playing baseball. Of course, he didn't call it that at the time. He was just playing the sport. There is not conspiracies, but there is people saying that he didn't really invent the sport. That the sport was kind of invented, but it was it stemmed out as something else, because in Asia and in Europe there was already in Asia cricket had already established itself. In India, and another game in Europe had already established itself as well as rounders. So a lot of historians say that he didn't create it from scratch, that he just took the idea from cricket and rounders and made baseball. And it was played the exact same way with 4 bases, 9 people. Yeah. And then it evolved from there, and it became America's pastime, because that was America's first major sport that grew. So that's why when people say baseball, baseball, America's pastime, that's why it kind of got that name. Now that I've spoken to you about the history of baseball, I would like to speak to you about how I relate to it. So there's different types of bats. This is actually a softball bat. I had a baseball bat, but it broke. It was a woody. It snapped in half. I named it Miley because at the time this was when Miley grew really big, like Miley Cyrus. And this was before I had the bat before she had that little wardrobe malfunction, and before she started sticking out her tongue all over the place. And so I'm kind of glad she snapped, because I was like, after she did that, I was like, oh, I don't want to use it anymore. But yeah, so that bat's dead. So this is what I have for right now. I haven't replaced her. How I was able to relate to it. Well, I first started playing baseball in my sophomore year of high school. I was the JV for my sophomore and my junior. I was catcher my junior, and then catcher my sophomore, and then junior I was second baseman. And my varsity year, my senior year I went to varsity, and I stayed on second base. And I was able to, when I first showed up for practice my sophomore year, I felt so lost, because like everybody really knew what they were doing, and I was just sort of like learning how to hold this. But like someone said, I forgot whose speech it was, I was able to grow with them because they committed time to teach me how to do like the simple stuff they already learned. And I figured like, wow, if they're able to do that, then if they want to give me the time to, if they're giving me their time to teach me how to play the sport, then I should at least try harder. And that's what kept me going on and on and on and on and on. That's why I kept going on, and eventually I got better and better, even though I really sucked in the beginning. Yeah, and then so as I was going on with my team, I was able to grow friendships with them. They were kind of like my second family. And then aside from that, I was able to relate to it back home. I didn't start playing it until my sophomore year, but I knew about the sport already just because of my family. My family are also big baseball fans. like the Dodgers. So I was able to relate to them with that too. In many ways, like if I had nothing to talk about with them, there was always like something within the baseball culture that I was able to relate back to them. Even if we were mad at each other, like this one time I was really mad at my uncle, and we didn't talk for a while. And then I mentioned something that was baseball related, and we started talking again like nothing. I was like, oh, okay. So I'm able to relate it back to my family and to my team, my former team. In conclusion, I talked about the baseball culture with America and how it developed, and then how it affected me at school and at home, and yeah.